Let me ask you about Boots for a minute, because I'm sure you saw it. What did you think about that interview that Boots had done recently where they asked him about Terence Crawford, and he said, man, that's easy work. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. That was easy work. And Bud, I think, did an interview, called Boots a hater, and said he would have knocked him out if they had fought. You know Bud better than anybody. If those two had fought, let's say after the Canelo fight, what would have happened in a fight like that?
You know what, man? I, yeah, I'm gonna stick with my guy, man. I'm gonna go with my guy because for the simple fact that one thing about our team, man, we love challenges, and if we put our mind to it and we set to it, and that's what we want to do, we're gonna go out and get the win, take on the challenge. And with Bud, just look at his record, just look at his, what he's accomplished in the sport, and those last couple fights has always been challenges and being undisputed challenges, be 3-time undisputed challenges, you know, uh, fighter of the year, ESPY award, two or three times, man. Those are challenges, man, that people put in front of Bud, and if Bud put his mind to it, he gonna make it happen, and he looks at his team to mentally, physically, and get him prepared for those type of challenges. So, Boots is supposed to say that because he's one of the guys at the top, but I he can't touch Bud. And I'm sorry. I like him as a fighter. I like him as a person. Him, his whole team over there. But I'm just being real with him. His best thing is let the man stay in retirement and ride off in the sunset. And you try to accomplish more than what he accomplished. That's the best thing I could tell anybody, and him, and his team.
Yo, I don't know about you, but that sounded like a warning to me, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all just heard Terence Bud Crawford's longtime trainer, his whole career, trained him his whole career. Coach Bomac just said it's best to leave Terence Bud Crawford, leave that man alone. It's best to leave him alone. I've got my guy in Terence Bud Crawford beating Jaron Boots Ennis. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got some absolutely massive news that's stirring up around the boxing world. I see guys like Showbiz. I see people out there like Blue Blood reporting and predicting that Terence Bud Crawford more than likely will be coming out of retirement to face two division unified in the welterweight division, lineal champion there, and currently the WBO, WBA junior middleweight champion of the world, Jaron Boots Ennis. Ladies and gentlemen, if this news ends up coming to fruition, which personally I'm comfortable with how Terence Bud Crawford has finished his career. I rocked hard with Terence Bud Crawford going into his final fight against Canelo Alvarez. And man, oh man, that was complete satisfaction, bro. My goodness, one of the most satisfying moments in my time of watching boxing. The amount of people that were picking against Terence Bud Crawford due to the weight difference, due to who he was fighting, Canelo Alvarez, ladies and gentlemen. But that being said, if Terence Bud Crawford were to come back, if there was any fighter that I would want this man to face that would, my goodness, just completely shock me, put me into shock, completely get me more excited than I've been since I was like 14 years old, ladies and gentlemen, watching the sport of boxing. Because, when you're watching boxing at the age of 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Those are the golden days. Those are the golden ages when you're absolutely obsessed with these guys, man. I remember, man, oh my goodness. My family, they used to get together, have big barbecues, watch Oscar De La Hoya fights, watch Manny Pacquiao fights, watch Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. fights. And I remember being a young kid looking up to these guys, man, and thinking, wow, like this is what, like, my family, this is what everybody's getting together for. This is what's going on. If I were to have Terence Bud Crawford come back and fight anybody, it would have to be Jaron Boots Ennis. Ladies and gentlemen, it has to be. I mean, the satisfaction just to be able to watch the fight, straight up, just to be able to watch that fight, where Jaron Boots Ennis is in his career right now, where Terence Bud Crawford is in his career. But, you know, if he were to come out of retirement, my goodness, would that be absolutely breaking news? This could be one of the most explosive, one of the most meaningful fights since I've been alive, ladies and gentlemen. I'm only 28 years old. That's kind of old already. I feel like I'm hitting 30s. I feel like, damn, I'm starting to get old, man. But also feeling strong, you know what I mean? Feeling in my prime. Putting in work. Grinding every single day. This would be an absolutely exciting fight, ladies and gentlemen. And at the end of the day, I probably got to agree with Coach Bomac, although I think Jaron Boots Ennis has the it skills. I think he does have that it talent. This guy has that unbelievable skill that, you know, he's just different than a lot of other fighters. But that being said, I've seen more from Terence Bud Crawford, more technicality, more skills that pay the bills. I've seen more tough competitors. I've seen Terence Bud Crawford go up against the best from 2014, I would say, to 2025. Of course, they fought before that. But I would say when they actually started fighting great fighters, you could say Terence Bud Crawford from 2013, 2014, all the way to 2025 when he retired. Jaron Boots Ennis is a little bit different. You could go back to maybe 2020. You could go to 2021 to 2026, ladies and gentlemen. Excluding Usuma Lima, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, that was his first fight at 154 pounds. I just see more holes in Jaron Boots Ennis's game. Although I believe he has the it factor, I believe Terence Bud Crawford has the it factor plus more. I believe from what I see with Terence Bud Crawford gives me more confidence that he'd be able to catch Jaron Boots Ennis the way a lot of fighters do hit Boots. Now, of course, as you try to hit Boots, you'll get hit with something. Don't get me wrong, I think Jaron Boots Ennis will have some success against Terence Bud Crawford, at least more success than Errol Spence Jr. had. But, you know, Errol Spence Jr. came out and announced everything that happened to him. So I've got Terence Bud Crawford being the more skilled fighter, the fighter with the it factor more when it comes to both of them. I think they're both great competitors. But that being said, we can't forget that Terence Bud Crawford is, you know, going to be out the ring once in next month. That's going to be a whole year that Terence Bud Crawford has not fought. If he decides to take even longer, I know he's working in the gym, working with Lester Martinez. He's still training and stuff, right? He better keep that up. He better not just be doing this to help Lester Martinez and then that's it, back to vacation. Although he's a stay busy guy, it's a lot different to be in training camps than just staying busy. And it depends what kind of stay busy it is. You know what I mean? I get worried with Terence Bud Crawford being out the ring for a year. Okay, but if it continues to be a year and a half, 2 years, I just think to myself, like, I mean, if you're going to come back, this is the time to come back, bro. This is the time to come back before it's too late. Because although we've seen flaws in Jaron Boots Ennis's game, like we've seen in his last fight, round 3 against Xander Zayas, you don't think he's going to work on those and fix those? You don't think he's going to capitalize on his mistakes? That's what mistakes are for, to be able to learn off them. And somebody with a high IQ, skill talent like Jaron Ennis, he's definitely going to learn from those mistakes and try not to make those mistakes again. And as he continues to get more and more success, 36 wins already, 32 wins coming by way of knockout, Terence he'll have a better chance of beating Terence Bud Crawford. 42 wins, 31 wins coming by way of knockout. This would absolutely be one of the coolest fights, the most shocking, greatest fights that I've ever seen, ladies and gentlemen, in boxing history. It would be absolutely amazing, and I'm sure even people who are older than me, 30, 40, 50, can arguably say that if Terence Bud Crawford was to come out of retirement and fight Jaron Ennis, this just might be one of the biggest fights of their lives too. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is the MMA Boxing Addicts channel, bringing you the breaking news. Coach Bomac absolutely sending a warning to Jaron Ennis. People are reporting that maybe he's going to come back. Let's see if this actually happens. If it's true, my goodness, it's going to be crazy, bro. Let me know what you guys think.